Hi guys, Jane here, and today I am reviewing the movie Ready Player One. I have not read the book, but after watching the movie, I really do want to read the book because the movie was actually really good. I'd heard kind of mixed reviews, but I really enjoyed it. I was surprised at how good it was for me. It was probably a 4.5 out of 5. I can't quite give it a 5, but it was really worth watching. Um, and I recommend it. So let me back up after saying I love it and spoiling my whole video to tell you a little bit about what the movie is about. So our main character is a kid named Wade Watts, and he lives in some of the poorest places in this futuristic world called the Stacks, where in the video it's like trailers on top of each other. So like a modern trailer park, except way worse because they're just trailers that are stacked. And in this futuristic world, a lot of people are living in poverty, a lot of people are suffering difficulties, and they're turning to this virtual reality space called the Oasis. And he's one of those people. He spends a lot of his time in the Oasis because honestly, life kind of sucks. Well, the creator of the Oasis has died, and it has been announced that he hid an Easter egg in the game, and that whatever player or players can find this Easter egg, they get control of the company and basically become wealthy beyond their wildest dreams and control this virtual space, which is hugely it's like the biggest money earner of the time. I mean, this is where everybody goes. It is huge. So obviously there's a lot of competition for it. Different players are competing. Corporations are competing, particularly one evil corporation that's kind of the bad guy in the movie. And so Wade and some other people end up going to look for this Easter egg and having to thwart the evil corporation as they attempt to get to this Easter egg. So what was great about it? Number one, I loved the look at video games in general and video games culture. This may be a movie that you can't appreciate as well if you're not a gamer. I'm a casual gamer, but I live with a hardcore gamer. So as a casual gamer, I play video games pretty regularly. My favorite games are Sims and Stardew Valley, but you know, I play. My boyfriend, on the other hand, is a much more hardcore gamer. We watch hours and hours of Twitch. I mean, and if you don't know what Twitch is, you're probably a casual gamer. So, you know, this is amazing when it talks about video game culture, but especially that, you know, so many people are playing to kind of escape a lot of the difficulties of our reality. Video games are a nice escape even now, even in modern day, not just in this futuristic world, for, you know, life is hard and a lot of us are maybe struggling with things like, I love my job, but it's maybe not where I thought I'd be 10 years ago. You know, parenting is hard, not rich, wealthy, and famous, and housework sucks, and, you know, the grown-up life. So I do think that we do use video games as an escape, and I do think if there was this virtual world that a ton of people would really be drawn to it, especially in these times right now where there feels like a lot of uncertainty, there feels like a lot of poverty. I know a lot of people don't feel like this is a very good time to live in. I do disagree because I recently read a book called Factfulness. And if you followed my channel, you probably saw my review or will see my review, probably saw, for Factfulness, depending on whether it goes up before this review or not. And the book basically says that, hey, the world is not as bad as we think it is. But that doesn't change the fact that it sometimes feels bad. You know, people, myself included, struggle with wishing things were better. And in this futuristic story, things are even worse than they are now economic-wise, and it's a really interesting world. As a gamer, I loved all the references to games. There's all kinds of video game critters that show up. There's a lot of references also to the 80s. And I was born in 83. So I grew up in the late 80s, early 90s, have a lot of nostalgia for that time. A lot of the stuff in this was just, it was so fun and so nostalgic. I really enjoyed the characters. I was sympathetic for their situation. The book or the movie also takes place in Columbus, Ohio, and I live in Ohio, and Columbus is not too far from where I live, and I've previously lived in Columbus, so that definitely was a high point of the movie for me as well. I was excited because it was kind of my area. I do like too that there was a lot of, like, on the base level, this is just an adventure game. It is a can we get the prize before the bad guys get the prize? Or I'm sorry, movie, an adventure movie. But there were so many levels and so many discussions about things like the role media plays in our lives and are we letting media take over for our real life? How does media affect our real life? So many really good questions of bravery, questions about entrepreneurship. I mean, this was a really, really deeper movie than I was expecting for a movie about a video game. So I really thought that it had a lot of levels and it got us thinking and discussing, and it was great. Plus, it did have just a really cool plot. You've got this virtual CGI world, you've got a lot of video game type stuff happening. They have to kind of do video game-ish things on this quest for the Easter egg, and it was a lot of fun. I really legitimately enjoyed this. There were a couple plot issues or things that maybe weren't perfect, and having not read the book, I don't know. Some of the characters that help Wade later on in the book or in the movie, they all get there really fast, and there's kind of a question of, did they all live in Columbus and in this huge virtual world, this whole big Oasis virtual world? Why is everybody he's friends with in the virtual world in his area or within like driving distance? Because in the real world, if you're a gamer, gamers are everywhere. It's kind of like YouTube. You watch YouTubers from tons of different countries, and when you're playing a virtual game, you don't know where people are from for the most part. You might have a server like that's North American, but in something this big, you probably have a lot of friends who you're meeting in this oasis who are going to be from, other countries. So there was possibly some plot issues with location that may be better explained in the book. Again, I have not read the book, but I want to. After watching this, I really do want to read the book, because this was a fantastic movie, better than I thought it would be. I really enjoyed it. My kids enjoyed it. My boyfriend, who's a hardcore gamer, enjoyed it, and he wasn't expecting to either. So all around, this was a really surprisingly good movie. I did like, there's a little bit of a romance, and I love the discussion of who we present ourselves as in the virtual world isn't always really who we are, and that's kind of with the layering discussion. There was also a lot of really cool elements in this world that I hope is more explained in the book. There is this, I guess you'd call it a debt center, where it seems like if you run into debt, like almost like an old-fashioned debtor's prison, except video game related. So like if you run up your debt to this one company, kind of the evil company in the game, and you can't pay it off, they can make you work it off in-game at these centers. So you basically are put into a cell, and you do virtual work, mining virtual currency or products, or I'm not really sure some of the specifics of that, for the company until you earn your way out of the debt that you cause. Because if you're not a gamer, that kind of sounds weird, but if you are a gamer, you understand that some games have items that actually have real world currency. I don't know much about that because that's not games I play, but I have heard about, like, on eBay and stuff, virtual items being sold. Of course, we all know about downloadable content and stuff that you buy in packs, but this is more stuff that would be found in a game that's a rare item that people pay real money to trade. And I kind of got the impression that in these virtual setters they were looking for that kind of thing, but again, I wasn't entirely clear on that and would love to delve deeper into it. So yeah, Ready Player One, way beyond my expectations. I really enjoyed. If you are a gamer, even a casual one, you'll probably like it. If you love the 80s, you'll probably like it. If those two things aren't in your world, this might fall flat for you. I definitely think this is very audience specific. And if you don't play video games at all, this is probably not going to be a very interesting view to you. I'd heard a couple people who read the book that they were just kind of meh, but I thought after watching the movie, like, I'm really excited to read the book, and the movie really, really was well beyond my expectations. So I think if you're the right audience, this is a great, great movie. All right, guys, I would love to hear your thoughts if you've watched it. Also, my social media is below. You're welcome to follow me, subscribe to my content. The like button's also down there for more content. See you next time. Bye.